Good morning. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Off the Press, a program where we bring you up to speed with the latest headlines making rounds in the newspapers and, just allow you make informed decisions. My name is Felicity Ezewuike. Always a pleasure to be here. Today I'm riding solo for a bit, but hopefully I'll be joined a little later for sports. We'll start with the Punch newspaper. The screamer here is withdraw CS of return. Zamfara APC, governor-elect, others write INEC, head for Supreme Court. You find details of that story on page 2. That's it on your screen. Let's look at the very top of the paper. We have no incentive to increase power generation, says Gencos. A bit of business for you on the power sector. That's page 28. And still on the aftermath of the elections, we have this one that says our decision on Lawan final. PDP's votes unnecessary. That's according to the APC. I'll contest Deputy Senate presidency, says Kalu. Page 2, that's where you find details of that story. Interestingly, we had it in our news bulletin earlier this morning. And one wonders the place of election, democracy. Is zoning going to supersede that? Well, we'll find out when the Night Assembly comes into force. Still on the National Assembly, Dogara, that's from the House of Representatives now, said National Assembly will pass budget on resumption April 2. There's a picture of the man of the moment on there as well on the front page. That screamer is getting a whole lot of thoughts in our heads this morning. But what is even more so is the picture still on the front page of the Punch newspaper. I had to do a double take when I saw it because it's something that is wondering. I'm hoping it will come on your screen in a bit. It's a picture of an overload. There you have it. Overloaded truck on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. This picture was taken on Wednesday. It's quite sad. We keep talking about government and what they need to do, but we don't seem to take our security into cognizance. How can people put themselves this way? I mean, just look at that picture. I don't know, just really, really sad to look at, but that's what we have. On the very bottom of that picture, we have poor funding of Auditor General's office boosting corruption. That's an allegation coming from the National Assembly, Senate. Page 8 is where you find details. FG states LGs share 119 billion naira. Truck kills Ogu people as talk drags steering wheel with driver. Okay, that's on page 4 and 5. That's for you there. FG ASU resume renegotiation of 2009 pact. That's another one. But this one about the people being killed, you need to go read it up. You will tear up a bit. I did, I know, when I saw that the boy that was shot dead was the only son of the mother. May he so rest in peace. Killer of ex-Ondo deputy governor's daughter sentenced to death. That's, some would say, speedy dispensation of justice. Details of that is on page 4. All right, we'll take a quick look at the back of the Punch newspaper before we move on. There is something on how not to save poor Nigerians. It's a Thursday with Abimbola Adelakun. That's it on your screen, and a little bit of sports is captured on there as well. Another deplorable sight is a failed portion of Oshodi-Apapa Expressway in Lagos. That conversation seemed unending. Something needs to happen to that area of Lagos. The picture is right there on your screen right now. Fallen trucks, deaths all over the place, and we're still using it. Well, we're hoping a new government is coming in. Maybe they will perform some miracle and give us a breath of fresh air. All right, we go to this day newspaper. The screamer here is court permits Atiku PDP to serve petition on Buhari through APC. That's it on your screen. And right on top of it, you have APC explains choice of Lawan Bajabiamila for National Assembly leadership. It has two riders, actually. Moves to pacify aggrieved aspirants. Senator denies alleged plan to give Buhari a third term. That one got a lot of persons bothered that the Night Assembly hasn't started already, but somebody's already speculating about a third term change in the constitution to allow the president to stay on beyond 2023. I'm sure a lot of Democrats will not allow that. We'll see what happens. At the very top of the paper, we have CBN to reintroduce cashless policy nationwide, says Emefiele. Crude oil price drops by 1% over excess U.S. inventories. You find details on page 9 of the paper. We go to a smiling Lai Mohammed on the front page of this day newspaper. Let's see if it will be on your screen in a bit, okay? There's a smiling picture. It actually looks really nice. Yeah, there you have him. Minister of Information and Culture and his agriculture counterpart, and the Minister of Budget and National Planning. Who knows what they're smiling about? Probably know a little later. We have this one in INEC. Supreme Court will decide Zamfara APC log jam. All right. Ministerial chart is what that picture is captioned, by the way. All right, we'll go to the back of this day newspaper. We have a worthy example in leadership. Who could this be? It's coming from Olusegun Adeniyi. He's talking about somebody who is worthy. Is it a JAM registrar? You might want to go read details for yourself. We're just pointing you in the right direction. That's what we do here on Off the Press and PlusTVAfrica. All right, the next paper for review now is the Nation newspaper. Or should people reject, what's it now, a Jankara judgment? That's something for you. There is it on your screen. Protesting Oshu over governorship election dispute verdict. And then Senate President Buhari APC leadership pacify Goje. You have Borno Governor Ndume meet. APC senators-elect woo PDP colleagues. That's another one here. Ruling party explains position. Other principal officers to be zoned. Girl raped to death in Enugu. Abducted policeman found dead. You find details on page 4 of the paper. May it rest well. At the very top of the paper, we have killer of ex-Ondo deputy governor's daughter to die. Tinubu is pillar of democracy, says Buhari. Africa loses 2.4 trillion naira yearly to diseases. FAC okays 1.4 billion naira for DPR building. Atiku, PDP to serve Buhari via APC. That's they're going to the party secretariat to do that. It's been in the news for a bit. Eagles ready for Cup of Nations. All of the details you find at the very top corner of the Nation newspaper. We also talked about that sharing of federal allocation on the front page of the paper. At the very bottom, you see that. Federal government, state, local government share a certain amount of money. That's it on your screen right now. We look at the back page of the Nation newspaper. A peep into our leaders' future. I'd like to see that one. That's it on your screen. It's editorial notebook by Benga Omotosho on a peep into our leaders' future. We also have open forum, and today it's about Tinubu as reactionaries' nightmare. What's that about? You got to read it. Go find your vendor and grab a copy of either of these papers we've reviewed so far, This Day, The Nation, and The Punch newspaper, for some of the details, so you're better informed and armed as you, navigate today. The Vanguard newspaper is up for review. A National Assembly leadership, expectedly, all clear for Lawan, fresh crisis brews over Baja. Mila, I guess, Mila. It has a couple of riders still on the Senate President's position. Let's see, on the very bottom of the paper, we have Ooh, this is a nice one. First bank at 125 years. There's a picture of all the bigwigs. NNPC closes recruitment portal as lawyer threatens court action over criteria. That's employment troubles at NNPC. That's page 32 of the paper. That's where you find it. At the very bottom of the paper on your screen right now. Oshi residents protest tribunal judgment, demand justice from appeal court. And in Rivers, we hear INEC plans to relocate collation center. That's the PDP alleging right now. It's not true, Commission is saying. So who are we going to believe? You might want to go grab a copy of the paper and flip to page 12 so you can get all the details as to, you know, the back and forth between the PDP and the Commission on the Rivers elections. Dokwesi narrates ordeal in immigration custody. That's something else for you. At the very top of the paper, that's where we're going now. A presidential poll, tribunal orders service of Atiku's petition on Buhari. We've taken that already. Who is running Lagos? I'll read that little box for you at the very top of the paper. Vanguard, that's it on your screen. It's highlighted. I don't know what shade of color that is, but I'd just like to read that box just for a second. It said, in the light of fresh information available to us, we are enriching the special report on Lagos. The report will now be published on a later date. Keep a date with your best companion. Uniquely, Vanguard. Okay? I'm sure a lot of persons would want to know what angle the Vanguard is going to take this story. That conversation has been ongoing for a bit. Who is actually running Lagos? On the back page of the Vanguard, we have sports, so I'll just leave that for now. Hopefully, when Samson comes in, we will take, either of them will be here. We'll take a look at what that is about. We're going to move to the New Telegraph now. Let's see what's interesting here. APC's here as well, the National Assembly issue. That's the screamer on the front page. There you have it. APC won't allow voting for National Assembly leadership. Yeah, there's a couple of riders to that story. We've already repeated that for a bit, so we'll just go to something else on the paper. Tribunal to Atiku serve Buhari. Okay, we've taken that one as well. Nigeria's budget lacks national values, integrity. That's House of Reps Speaker Dogara there. Autumn, my greatest mistake was making Akume my godfather. And it thought godfatherism is dead. Interesting. Okay, we still have them with us. Godfathers don't seem to be letting go of their groups anytime soon. You might want to find out what Autumn is speaking. By the way, he's Benue State Governor. You'll find details on page 36 of the paper. All right, we also have something on school proprietors, still on the front page. Fees. School proprietors to pay 25 million naira for caning pupil. 5-year-old victim loses eye to flogging. That's a sad one. I once had a bad experience like that while I was in primary school. My eyes were swollen for days, but it got better. We have a picture on the front page as well. Egypt Air lands in Asaba. Experience excites pilot. That's a bit of commercial. And this is that picture of the victim of that flogging experience, Destiny. Children who spend much time on phone risk hip fractures. That's worrisome. Go read it up if you're a parent to a teenager. You might want to, because I know that's the age they start handling mobile phones. All right, let's go to the back page of the New Telegraph and see what is cooking. I'll flip over now. Abdusalami Peace Committee, the gilded Abdusalami Peace Committee, that's what's on the New Telegraph. There's a picture of Kuka and the man himself. Political musing. And there's something on sports, the 10 differences in B. That might keep you engaged for a few before you have to go somewhere, all right? That's about it on the New Telegraph. There's something on the front page, though. You have ship owners move to grab $3.5 billion shipping contract. That's a bit of business for you. You find it on page 7 of the paper. That's about it on the front page of the New Telegraph. We will take a look at the Daily Sun, which is the last paper we have this morning. Once we do that, we will go on a very short break. But what's interesting on the front page of the paper, the night Senate presidency is trending, actually, in my opinion. Subject to verification, of course. No going back on the one. The APC is not letting go of this conversation, and all the papers are capturing that. You should stay tuned to us, though. We have a news coming up at 10 o'clock, so you get to get more details to some of the stories. That is in case you're unable to get through to the stands to get got to the stands to get the paper. That you get the news at 9, at 10 hourly here on Plus TV Africa. All right. The writer to that story, I think it's kind of interesting, so just take a quick look at it. It's on your screen. So it says PDP won't get any committee chairmanship except minority leadership public accounts. It's too early to say what will happen, the PDP counters in reaction. Well, one worries, though, that the assembly is not even on sit, and we're having so much conversation about who is going to be the leader. I thought it's supposed to be a democracy. People are supposed to be elected into this position among themselves to decide who they think will hold this position. Well, what do I know? What do I know, really? Okay, still on the front page of the Daily Sun, we have Tribunal that's captured. We've taken a look at that a lot this morning, so I just skipped that already. Kalu is from Abia State. Yeah, he's from Abia State, and he's insisting they need to give him the Deputy Senate presidency. Details of his thoughts is captured on page 29. We've also talked about the Guba's poll, but there's this interesting picture on the front page. There you have it. Orphans and less privileged children of the Divine Wounds of Jesus Christ Orphanage and Rehabilitation Home in Kubwa, after their house was demolished by the FCT Development Control at Kubwa, Abuja yesterday. What happens to these kids? Where are they supposed to go if their home has been demolished? We're certainly hoping that something is on the offing, that they are being cared for, because they are relying on the government and the goodwill of Nigerians to stay alive. Who knows? One of them could be the president of this country. It's happened before. All right, we'll go quickly to the back page of the Daily Sun newspaper. We have Amanze Obi, broken tongues, and today he's looking at, I still remember restructuring. Everybody does, but is it as much of a front burner issue as it should be? Remember, that was some of the grounds that the parties campaigned for during the campaign period. But we don't seem to have so much push, so much energy in that conversation. Let's see what this second term of Buhari is going to look like on the restructuring conversation, and of course what the National Assembly is going to be doing. It's going to be an interesting time for all of us here in Nigeria. I'm sure National Assembly is always an interesting place for news stories. I guess that's it for now. We will take a short break, and when we come back, I'll be joined by my colleague Samson. We'll be talking sports, or rather, he will be talking sports. To stay with us and Off the Press. Glad to know you chose to stay with us and Off the Press for that break. We continue now with sports. And like I said, someone is here to talk about it. Samson Oloyede, thank you very much for coming in.
Good morning, Felicity.
Good morning. All right, we have complete sports for review. And of course, we'll take a quick glance at the back page of the Vanguard newspaper. But go for the kill. That's Liverpool head. As they head for Premier League running. Yep. And then we have something on Pogba demands £13.65 million per year salary. Rao, my Eagles are 70% ready for AFCON. No new invitations for AFCON. That's some of the... we have something for Mikel Chosborough over Eagles. That's Rao also speaking. So which of these are, there are a little more, as you can see on the front page there on your screen. Over to you, the expert now. Which of these headlines, in your opinion, is like the biggest thing this morning?
Well, two things. Complete Sports is reporting that Mikel, General admitted that Mikel chose Middlesbrough as his club over, national team duties. And it's typical of John Mikel Obi. We've seen that over the years, where there are probably qualifiers of friendly games. He tends to, prioritize club commitments over national team and duties. And that calls to question his commitment to the national team, especially since as the captain of the team. You want to lead by example, you want to show commitment, you want to show a bit of dedication and drive towards the national team's cause. In this context, probably, preparing for the AFCON, we've qualified already. So, although I also understand that it's a dead rubber qualifier, the game we played against Seychelles and then the friendly game against Egypt. But as the captain, you're meant to lead, and if it's not about injury worries, you're expected to show up for national team matches, at least 95% of the time. But it's typical of John Mikel Obi to, miss matches like that over the years. So that's shocking, and it raises questions over Mikel's, leadership role or qualities if the coach is, admitting that he decided to ditch the national team for his club.
Is it confirmed, and what could be his reason? I mean, sometimes there might seem to be a reason for one, especially if he feels that maybe there are more capable hands. That
it's not, as I said, it's not new. Mikel has done that over time. It's about really? Precedence now. Okay. Quite all right. What happens most times is if there's a friendly match, and a team is probably in the running for a league title or a Champions League spot, the club could actually discuss with the Football Federation of that nation, and then they'll meet the player from playing. But this time around, it's General, the national team coach, is saying that Mikel decided to choose Buru over, the Eagles. You look at Buru's standing in the championship. Yes, promotion is still, likely for them, to clinch, but it calls to question his leadership roles, really. If it was a one-off, it's a different thing. It's something he has done over time.
Does it have any...
No, at least not for now, no.
Okay, and, so which other one?
There was also talks of General saying that his Eagles are 70% ready for the AFCON. That's good news. I, however, disagree with, the notion that he insisted on not inviting new, players to the team. The AFCON is big. It's in June. There's still some 3 months thereabouts, away from tournaments. You want to get the best legs possible. I feel like if we have 1 or 2 good players, playing out there, they should be given a shot to express themselves and see if they can fight for a shirt. You don't just shut the door when, the tournament is still some 3 months away. And especially when we have goalkeeping crisis. There's a certain Madu Koye in Germany who is doing quite well as a goalkeeper and is young. We could give him a chance. You can't just shut the door like that and say no new invitations. You have to make it open.
That they will have room for more.
For more people. There's also the talks of Pogba demanding £13.5 million. That's expected because suitors will come in during the winter transfer, summer transfer window, and clubs will try as much as possible to tie down players, by increasing their contracts in terms of wages and all of that. So it's expected from Pogba.
Is this the biggest transfer this conversation today? Or?
Rashford is definitely going to be in the news. He's a big player. He's still young. He's got the pace. He's got the ability to play either on the flanks or down the middle as a central striker. He can guarantee you goals. It brings a whole lot of dynamics to whatever setup or play a coach wants. So in terms of the money, definitely Barcelona will make a move. We've heard of that in recent times. There's also talks of Atletico Madrid as well, looking in his direction. I don't think they want to seal Morata's deal, loan move to permanent.
No, Mourinho, I really don't know much about him, but I tend to see a lot of stories about him, speculations as to what the future looks like for him. And here we're seeing that Mourinho wants Lyon or Monaco job. There just seems to be speculations back and forth. Nobody is sure exactly what. Yeah.
And the reason is for coaches, some of them don't express. They don't open up as regards the moves they want to make until it's time. Most times they just take a break and tell you that they will be back in management at a particular time. Mourinho has stated categorically that he will be back in management in the summer. We do not know the club is going to go to. There were talks of he returning to an old club, and Real Madrid seemed like the likely destination until they appointed Zidane, and that move crushed. So now the talks of Lyon and Monaco. It's a new terrain for him if he goes to either club. He hasn't coached them before.
Okay, I'm told we're almost out of time, so I'd like your quick thoughts on the back page of the Vanguard newspaper. They always have their sports stories captured there. So, yeah, which of them here?
Osimhen targets Super Eagles AFCON 2019 squad. That's interesting. I don't know how Raw wants to pick, but it's going to be difficult for him to make, the AFCON squad, because that position he plays, you have Odion Gallo in there, who scored 7 goals during the qualifiers and was the highest goal scorer of the qualifiers across the continent. Now there's Paul Onuachu as well, who can play as the central striker. And you also have Victor Osimhen. So it's a fight. It's going to probably take 2 players. And you have 3 players jostling for 2 positions. So it's a fight to finish. But the young lad definitely has lots of years ahead of him to make the Eagles squad. Okay,
what do you make of this news about governors? Sometimes we hear them showering.
We hear about it, they promise a certain amount of money.
Do they always fulfill?
Yeah, they fulfill. They promise a certain amount of money either to when you win a match or per goals. Ahmed Musa also did that for the under-23 Eagles as well. So it's nothing new.
All right, thank you very much, Samson. What we're going to do, as usual, there's a lot of stories here. I'm sure we didn't get everything, so you need to go to your vendor and just get a copy. And they too need to be in business, so your patronage matters. I'm not an advocate for them, but I think, they spend hours printing these things. Thanks again, Samson.
A pleasure.
To wrap things up nicely with the Vanguard newspaper, Mr. and Mrs. If you've been following us, you know that we find this a bit interesting every day. The conversation this time is not between the husband and the wife. There seem to be 2 men here, and one is saying, you take your wife home now. It's just a normal morning sickness and it's under control, but you look pale. Let me fix you up too. Don't bother. You can only fix morning sickness, not money sickness.
Oh, okay.
We always have money issues, so yeah, men are always complaining. Things are hard.
Well, you keep the hope, you keep working.
Hope I life and
then
work
things
hard.
work out.
All right, thank you very much.
A pleasure.
I guess that's it for After Press this morning. Thank you for joining us. We're back again tomorrow. Do stay tuned to Plus TV Africa for more programming. My name is Felicity Ezewuike.